we are
And
not.
you guys can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
I shared it with you. Okay. Yeah, just so you know, like you can look at that during the show, and then there's no delay. So,
Right.
if we're showing a clip or something, you can look at that. Don't have to wait 30 seconds to know what's going on. Okay, I think the stream should be up now. I did not update the title because I am so behind. I'm not even close.
It's the first week back.
It's whatever.
It's what it is.
Let's see if I can update it quick. Here's the problem. Last time I tried to update it quick, I showed the password on stream.
Oh.
So we gotta figure out how not to do that. Okay, there we go. Should be better. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Now they just see like 4 webcams, and this is like bad stream layout. somebody snap it. We gotta send it in.
Just leave. I'm cool with this. We can go with this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if we get exposure on bad stream layout for this, is it's more viewers.
Here's 4 things in a random order on the screen.
Yeah, and dollar amounts everywhere. Like that's always a good one.
Can you please put the game in the bottom left?
I can't believe there was this one a couple of weeks ago that I sent into bad layouts, and it was this guy who had like all he listed on his stream was the amount of money he got from different donors. And it was his webcam in the center. I think it was like in between games, you know, like they play like StarCraft or something, and they've got downtime between games. So he had like his webcam was in the center, and then he had like 4 columns of people who donated like $1 to him. And it was just I don't even know how to describe it. Like it started off in like red text, and then it went to orange, and then the next column was like pink into green, and
oh my god!
And the font wasn't consistent, so like some of them were bigger and smaller. Like your dollar means more than his. Like it was. Oh man, I can't believe it didn't get retweeted.
That Twitter account's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's great.
The final split 25. This is the return.
Yeah. It's good. Yeah.
Not to be confused with other returns that might happen. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Update. Did the stream title update? Are we good? We make it. By the way,
I don't see an update yet.
The heater strategy seems to be working. I'm not running. My nose is not running as often. So
Woo!
I might be roasting by the time we're done with the show, but if I start to look red in the face, it's because it's warm in here.
Anything past 20 minutes and bone sauce or golden sweating.
Yeah.
Fine.
All right. Did the stream title update?
Sweating.
I think.
What am I doing?
Somebody want to check that?
I will check it after I finish clicking out this tweet. All right. I don't. Oh, it did. I don't see it yet.
I had to control F5, but it changed.
Oh. I'll F5 it as well. Let's see if this works.
Okay. You let me know.
Yay, we're in.
We're going. Okay. There it is. Now we're back.
Okay, we made it.
Today is not the 6th, by the way. Today is definitely not the 6th. We're just... I know I typed
September the 6th.
We've gone back in time. That's the last time we did a show.
Golly.
Can you believe it's been that long?
We need it. It's all right. Season 2. That's what I'm calling.
There we go. Season 2. It's you can tell it's been a while.
Yeah. We hired new writers to write all of our lines.
That's right. They were sick of the way that I was saying things, so all my lines are scripted. Yeah, that's right.
We needed sex appeal on this show, so we brought in Bonesaw.
There we go.
Hey,
what are you wearing there? Put your hands back up there. I thought I saw something. Wait, those are sleeveless gloves?
They're hand warmers. My hands.
Okay.
I
couldn't decide
when I play games because my controllers are always cold. I just didn't take them off because they're warm and they're soft.
Okay, I couldn't decide if it was like gloves or if they were attached to your like sweatshirt somehow or like.
It's just a really weird sweatshirt they sell.
Yeah, it's just an awful sweatshirt and it's just got gloves on it.
Okay. Before we actually like kick the show off and can't look back. How How are we doing on audio levels, guys, in the chat? Can you guys hear myself okay? Can you hear the other folks in the call?
Yo, yo, yo.
Hello.
Test.
Check.
This
check.
is my opinion.
Flat. Yep.
This
Flat.
is my
Flat. Yep.
If we even have viewers at this point, that's the other thing. It's been so long. Like, how are we gonna?
Everyone just assumed they're done.
Who's left? Yeah, there's like 5 loyal viewers. Like, yeah, I've been here. The tab
Like,
open.
oh, we got 58 people. They all left it up from last time.
Yeah, they. you can tell who doesn't clean out their tabs between.
I always love when I go live. I'm like, oh, cool. I've already got like 23 viewers, and that drops to like 8 immediately.
Yeah.
And people just like,
So
oh
people are
god,
like, oh man, where's that sound coming from?
it sounds loud and obnoxious.
Gotta
Let's
shut
get
it
rid of
down.
Actually, I think, the best part is going into your stream, and then the first comment is, holy crap, you scared me because I left this tab open.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, I was asleep. I was peeing. Everything good was happening. And then you came into my life.
Oh, I'm
This
seeing
sucks.
the Ulta emotes already. That's good. Got some loyal fans in the house here.
Dude, Ulta emotes. You got sub?
Yeah.
Dude, nice.
Dude, nice. A classic
Dude.
Spike Vegeta quote. Oh man. All right.
Yep, because I'm the only person who says that. Good.
So no, I mean certainly not, but
That's
I
good.
think I'm ready. I already checked the controller and that seems to be working. So if you guys are ready, since we are a few minutes behind, I guess we can start this thing. You know, I wasn't gonna do it, but
Let's roll with it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
all right, okay. Well, I'm gonna bring the Skype call down, so I can't hear what these folks are saying about me. They'll make fun of me for like 30 seconds, and then we'll start the show. So let's do that. All right, here we go. All right, is this working? Is this working? I don't even know. It's been so long. Let's see. It's not working. Good. Excellent. Just the way we wanted it. Okay, welcome everybody to episode number 25 of the Final Split. It's been a month since we've done a live show, so it's been quite a while, but I think it was a much needed break, and we're back in even clumsier than before at getting the show set up, so that's good. Joining me today, 3 very funny, very intelligent gentlemen here. Starting with returning champion and multi-million-dollar winner on the show, Spike Vegeta.
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. You've been back 25 episodes in a row.
25 episodes, y'all can't get rid of.
Yeah.
What am I up to? Like $6 million?
Yeah, you're giving Ken Jennings a run for his money there.
I couldn't remember his name.
Yeah,
Well,
there you go. I gotcha.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anything exciting going on for you this week, Spike?
Oh, dude. I'm in the thick of my tour, acting tour I'm in right now. We're 4 weeks in. I'm about to do literally a 22 show week. So I'm ready to die by the time we do next week's episode. But yeah, I'm glad to be back. I missed doing this. So let's do it.
Good to have you back. Also returning for an appearance here in the guest host slot, as it is now deemed at very last minute too. By the way, thanks for filling in. We got Bonesaw returning. Welcome back. Wearing the
Hello.
Wearing the hand warmers, trying to stay warm. And
Part of the sweater.
all right, this I'm okay with this. Whatever this is, that's how you say hello in Canada. All right, hey.
Hey.
What have you been up to, Bonesaw?
Not too much. I recently found a place that sells vanilla Coke, so that's been the highlight of my entire year so far.
There you go. Okay. Good to know it's still around. I actually have a few vanilla Cokes remaining too, so
Ooh.
yeah. Maybe we can have one later, I guess.
Hell yeah.
And our
I
guest
would
this week,
imagine you just keeping them in a glass.
yeah, he's preserving it in
your
the.
mantle.
It's like the
It's in
Hope,
a
the Hope
glass case.
Diamond, right? Like the Hope Diamond is in a box you can't touch, and the vanilla Coke is right next to it. This is the last.
When the apocalypse happens,
please do not use flash photography while you might tint the can. So that's the thing. Our guest this week is probably wondering why he's here at the moment with the way we're acting. We got Ulta Biscuit. Welcome. Oh, hello. All right. Excellent.
Got to show the Gumi.
That's good. Yes. Now I've got to ask you because obviously we'll get to the interview a little bit later. But have you ever streamed with webcam before?
I have not.
You've not. So this is your breaking your webcam cherry, I guess. Is it popping the cherry?
Yeah.
Not breaking the cherry. That sounds.
It's not even my webcam.
It's a very violent process.
Just breaking the cherry. Man, it's going to be a good episode. I'm a little sick today too, so I'm like very light in the head. It's going to be great.
It's kooky.
All right, enough of all of that. We got a show to do. Let's go ahead, dive right into it here as we press start. Guys, it is marathon season. Nobody has to even tell you that. It's just a fact. It's marathon season. Got a lot of marathons going on this weekend. We have DeuceCon going on right now. I believe that's down in Texas, and Chicagothon, which I believe is in Chicago. These are
it's actually in Korea.
I mean, what am I going to say for that? That's the way it is. So DeuceCon and Chicagothon, 2 events going on this weekend. Have you guys had a chance to watch either one of these? And if so, what are your thoughts in general just about these events? Whether it was, what they were aiming to do, or just the idea of the local events. Talk a little bit about either one of these if you've had a chance. Spike, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. I haven't seen much of Chicago. I haven't seen any of Chicagothon this year, but I did watch it last year. I had a joy watching it then, and been taking in a lot of DeuceCon this year for the first 3 days. And I think for a lot of people, when you first see DeuceCon, you go there, and it's almost it's nothing bad, but you almost can feel like, oh, where's the production value? We're used to all these things on the layout, and I think we're used to raising money. It's almost this bigger, more selfless thing, and I kind of like that it is just a very simple, hey, we're just a bunch of people getting together, meeting up, having fun. And it's hard for me not to feel a little jealous of that. We talk all the time about how we love our fellow community members, how we only get to see each other once or twice a year if we're lucky. If you're tofu, then you take a 2-year break in between your marathons, and we never get to see you. Right. So the fact that we're seeing these people just gravitate towards these smaller events, not trying to raise money or anything, just getting together and having fun. Been watching Duckfist Mario Brothers 3 run the last hour. Everyone just looks like they're having a good time, and it brings back memories of, I went to the old SGDQ 2011-2012 back at Essentia's house. We're having a good time. We're eating pizza. We're just playing video games.
Right. It really kind of you mentioned the earlier SGDQs. It really does remind me of that, where it's just here's a couple of people hanging out in a house, getting together. It really feels like a LAN party more than a a structured marathon, so to speak. Obviously there's a schedule, but it's lenient. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you're over your estimate, and it's more like it's more like, hey, here, go get another beer. I don't care. Take 10 more minutes, whatever. Do what you got to do. By the way, lots of beer at both of these events. I had to point that out. Yes. That was a notable difference.
It's evident, by the way.
Is it evident? Okay, you don't have to name names, but are you seeing it in the gameplay? Are you seeing it?
I'm just saying, I've seen some odd gameplay from
questionable decisions.
Yeah. So, right. But hey, who cares?
That's right. Yeah. No, it's
good time.
No, it seems like they're having a lot of fun there. Bonesaw, Ulta, have you had a chance to watch either one of these?
I haven't had a chance yet. No, I've been traveling a lot. I just got back home, so I haven't had a chance to check it out.
Welcome home. Good to have you back. You're a busy guy. You're traveling all the time.
I do. I travel a lot.
Well, okay. Just sit down, have a at home weekend.
Finally get to sit down and enjoy.
Alta, have you had a chance to watch either of these yet?
I've caught a little bit of DeuceCon towards the end of today, but it's nice to have this, just a laid back marathon. I mean, the GDQs are great too, but they've kind of gotten pretty big, so they're a lot more serious, I guess. But these just don't have that same atmosphere, like Spike was saying.
Yeah. Do you guys think that if there was a local event maybe near you, or I guess if you had, maybe you are near one of these that's going on. Is this something you would consider going to just to take part in as like a, just a get together maybe once a year kind of thing? Not it doesn't have to be like a seasonal thing or anything like that. But do you think these local events are something that you would be interested in going to?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm just starting to think like, the GDQ is getting bigger and bigger, and obviously more and more people are going to be excluded from them. ESA maybe potentially facing something similar as that continues to grow. It just kind of makes sense to me that people are kind of going back to these kind of I don't know what you want to call them, grassroots marathons. I hate grassroots esports is like my least favorite term ever, so I was trying not to use that, but that's all that came to mind. So grassroots I don't know what you want to call speedrunning get-togethers.
Sure. Probably the number one thing I enjoy about it is that it feels like the marathons have almost come full circle. Like there's, even to today, there's still a lot of people who think about, I want to get a run into a GDQ because I want my channel to be discovered. And, so you got all that behind it. Now enough people have, I hate to say it, been jaded by that and seeing that it isn't exactly a place to become famous, where now it's just a bunch of people hanging out playing video games. And like, sure, if like I gain like 6 followers off of that, that's awesome, like whatever, but it has come full circle. We're just a bunch of people having fun,
and you're kind of seeing that too. Like I think DeuceCon's layout doesn't even really mention like this is my Twitch, this is my Twitter, that kind of thing. It's just it's the runner's name, it's a timer, it's a camera, it's gameplay.
Sure. It's simple. Pretty bare minimum. It is,
and I think it works though. Like it doesn't have to be anything more than that. It's the goal of the marathon is to just hang out and have some fun and record it so you can go back and watch it. So I like that.
For sure.
And Chicago-thon, I've had a chance to watch a little bit. Again, it sounds like the opinion here from most of us is that DeuceCon is the one that we've mainly checked out of the two. But I think that also is because I think it got a head start, if I'm not mistaken. It was started like a day earlier too.
Chicago-thon is it twitch.tv/Chicago-thon or is it
Clage? Actually, I got it up on the stream.
Okay.
Clage is hosting it. But yeah, no, I mean, both of these seem like they're very, very similar in style. The main difference being Chicago-thon is raising money for some of the attendees to go to AGDQ as well. And DeuceCon is just, there's no money involved. It's just a marathon for the sake of being a marathon. So hopefully you guys will check those out this weekend. And we really are starting to hit marathon season, though, because coming up these next few weekends, it seems like there's going to be a marathon every week again. And that was very true last year, too. October was about that time when all those marathons started to pop up. So
you'll start to see a lot of little mini solo marathons by people just doing their little 3-day marathons to get themselves to AGDQ. It's they'll start just popping up out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on. As you can tell, I'm like super sick and trying to like not die during today's episode.
Trying to power through. We got this.
We're gonna keep going. Okay, up next. It has been a while since we've done a show. So this is kind of old news, but I think it's worth bringing up. This is something that happened recently. Sockfolder, of course, the genius that he is, found a consistent canonless setup. I can say it. It's a hard phrase. And just like you would expect from Sockfolder, it's very Ocarina of Time in its execution. Punch this way, spin the camera that way, backflip, side hop, roll, instant shield drop, all of that. I chose this specific video of it because it was from Sockfolder's stream, but since then, Mario 64 runners have kind of jumped all over this and come up with little alterations to make it more consistent or quicker. And I guess, what do you guys think about this setup getting found? What do you think it means?
Well, I think there are two big things that stick out to me. One, Sockfolder is a god, and why can't we find more people like Sockfolder who think in this way? It's amazing. I mean, I know there are plenty of glitch hunters out there, but just the high-profile glitches that he's found across all these games is pretty incredible. The second thing to me is, on its surface, I would view a lot of fans in particular to look at this, knowing Mario 64 speedrunning, knowing Canalys, and saying, oh, why would you want to use that? It looks ridiculous. It looks like you're just wasting all this time. What's wrong with people doing it in the past? Because I think people have selective memory of, they just remember, here's all the times it was successful. But in reality, to all the runners out there, they seem to all be on board with the fact that they want to use this, that this is better for a single segment run. Forget 120 star. I hear people saying they want to use this in 70 star. The biggest thing to think about is you're giving up, like, I think 4.5 seconds, and they're treating regular cannonless as sort of almost like an IL strat. I remember Elm using the terminology for. It's going to allow, you're giving up 4 seconds, but we're going to see a lot more runners get much deeper into the runs, have much better chances of getting more PBs, because it became ridiculous having to watch, the 2-3 minutes building up to cannonless over and over and over again for streams. Just can't get out of Whomp's Fortress.
Yeah, I think it's something for the runners more than anything, because it's, a lot of people leave the game for that reason specifically. They want to be able to play through it, and they're kind of halted by whether or not they get cannonless in the first place. So I've seen people excited about this, if only because it brings them back to the game more than anything.
Yeah. I appreciate more than anything else the maturity of the community to accept this with open arms, as opposed to saying, oh, it's time lost. It's saying, no, we are going to get more runs to happen. This is not only a marathon strat. This is a legitimate single segment strat that I can pull out and actually get runs done for the day.
Yeah, I mean, how many times have you seen somebody, miss cannonless the first try and then continue with the run anyway? Or, they'll take a second stab at it. If they fail it the first time, they'll, do the wall kicks back up there. And if they get it, then they keep going anyway. So,
right. So if you're giving
in between.
If you're missing it first try, I think it's about the same amount of time as just doing this. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Obviously not a time loss there that they have a problem with.
No, I guess I want to ask Ulta and Bonesaw this question. What do you want Sockfolder to investigate in your game? There's got to be something like that you play where you're like, I know this is broken, Sockfolder, please. Like,
every community has had this conversation.
Yeah, there's actually a website, believe it or not, that's just like a list of, please, break this game next. Like, you gotta get your game on the list. Like, he's got an order.
Just at least for Superstar Saga, just name a thing, because there's still a whole lot more that could be broken in that game, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a minute here too. I'm sure there's a lot in that game. Bonesaw, what's
well, I actually had one, I've been speedrunning a game called Forbidden Siren for a little while now. It's like a Japanese horror game. It's kind of obscure. There's a couple of people that run it, but I'm basically the only American person that runs that game. All the other runners are Japanese.
You're
but
actually not American either, but that's what's
North American. But
North American.
Sure. There was one person, Akion is famous on YouTube for finding glitches in horror video games, and he found a glitch that uses a turbo controller, actually, that if you put strafe, which is L1, on turbo, crouch, and move, you can zip in the game and go just extremely fast and zip right through an entire level. You can even do it holding a weapon as well. But the thing is that it only works with a turbo controller. So if it's actually possible to do in using a regular controller, right, we could use it in speedruns.
Finding the application there. I think one of the things that always interested me about just glitch hunting in general, or finding, it seems like the game has to have a certain popularity in order for it to be busted open. It's not just those games like the Ocarina of Times, the Mario 64s that are really busted up. It's just they're so popular that it almost necessitates it. Like, hey, if I'm going to look for something in a game, I'm going to pick one of those games instead of something else. So I always wonder, what's out there that people aren't finding just because the game isn't popular enough, or there's not motivation for somebody to go searching for that. So
just not the right people are. I speedrun games all the time. I am not a glitch hunter in any way. You need someone with that kind of obtuse style thinking to get in there and start messing with the game. So
There's like a couple of tiers of people. There's like people who just look at routes and do the speed run. There's people who make routes for games, and then there's the people who can see through the route and find glitches and find tiny things in games that just make it that much quicker or that much more optimized, or make the run look that much better by like finding a wall that you can jump on to get up and out of bounds or something like that. Like some people just have that.
Yeah.
Like not everybody can find glitches. It takes, I don't know, I guess it kind of takes a certain kind of person to be able to look at that wall and say, hey, I think I can jump on that and get out of bounds. Like it really takes a sort of attention to detail that not everybody has.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like, I guess, just to kind of wrap it up, it's one of those things that the community is grateful to have at this point, like those kind of people, but it's still one of those areas where there's room for more people to fit in. Like, hey, like if you're one of those people that's really, you're digging into the memory of the game, you're looking at all that, the addresses and things like that. There's lots of application for you in speedrunning still, so. Stockfolder, in addition to this, more recently, I think he was digging into 1,000 Year Door, finding some stuff there too. So he's been busy, but finding lots of cool stuff. So shout outs to him. You guys should check out his stream. And let's move on from here and talk with our guest of the week. Our guest here is Ulta Biscuit in the bottom right corner. And I guess what I want to start with, and maybe we'll go from there into more specific stuff. I played Superstar Saga as a kid. I loved the game. How did you decide you wanted to speedrun it? Was it something that, same situation where you played it as a kid, you really enjoyed it, or did you play it more recently? How did you get involved and wind up running Superstar Saga?
I think I've played through the game like 10 times before I started speedrunning it. But the thing that really made me want to speedrun it was Mug's Task that he released in 2012. That kind of showcased all of how broken the game is. And so it's, at least at the time, people were thinking it's like really too inconsistent to do in real time, but eventually I found setups to make that happen. So I just kind of went from there after I completed my first run.
Yeah, so I mean, it's safe to say that you were inspired. So I guess, like, if that task didn't exist, do you think you'd be running the game at all, or were you inspired by mainly Mug's tasks?
Mainly inspired by his tasks. I mean, not many people even ran this game before then. The only run that I really saw that often was Dragon Dark's run on SDA. And it's the segmented run he had is very good, but at least as far as a glitchless run goes, it's just buy the mush badge and win. It's it's really not that interesting of a run glitchless. Plus it's a lot longer.
So between the time you pick up the game and get to now, lots of stuff getting found for it. How did that start happening? Was it your running that kind of re-inspired other people to find it? Did you find it while you were running? How did we wind up where the game is now?
I've been working with Mug quite a bit, trying to find more things to break about the game. And just as I ran the game more, I had a deeper understanding of the glitches and how they worked. So I was able to better apply them in other places. And somebody by the name of Lack SR also helped out with the English version, finding ways that it can go faster there too, with better setups for some of the more difficult skips. So it's really been the three of us for the majority of finding everything for that game. But it's certainly turned into something else since I started running it.
Do you remember what your first time was, like when you started running, and like what
it was? It was like 2.5 hours.
And it's come down pretty much an hour since then, right?
Yeah, and it took me like 10 tries to even finish a run because that's how hard the tricks were to learn. And even after you complete all the tricks, Cackletta is just a really stupid fight sometimes.
It's not often that I can think of anyway in like RPG runs where everything hinges on the final battle. Like usually by that point you're either coasting or it's not too terribly tough. But
Oh
I guess
yeah,
Superstar
Chad.
Saga's got kind of a little bit of a twist on that.
Yeah, Chad just reminded me that somebody named the guest, he found the sign glitch,
Okay.
which is the thing that made the English version faster finally.
Yeah,
So it's kind of weird because Superstar Saga breaks a lot of speedrunning conventions, I guess. The English version has faster text and it just has better everything except glitches. So it just ends up being faster by about 3 minutes.
interesting. So let's talk a little bit about the sign glitch then, I guess, because that's kind of a big one. So what's the deal with the sign glitch and what does it do for the game?
Well, before I get into that, basically all the glitches hinged on getting Fire Hand on Mario. And before the sign glitch was discovered, the Japanese version could get it like a half an hour faster compared to the English version. But the sign glitch let both versions get Firebrand right away as soon as
Firebrand
you.
being one of the abilities that you can use.
Yeah,
Correct.
it's the fireball that Mario can use. And as soon as you get into the first room with the barrel in the forest, then both versions can get Fire Hand, and that's when all hell started breaking loose.
Right. It kind of opened up the door to all these other glitches that you're finding, and I guess from getting to run it in JRTA, just getting to see some of the reactions from people who maybe haven't seen the run before, or I guess even in your own stream, when you do runs, I'm sure there's people stopping by all the time that haven't seen it before.
Yeah, the pixel screen is always catching people by surprise there.
Yeah, just the entire game gets distorted, and I love when games do that because that's like an instant. You don't have to have played the game to appreciate the difficulty and just the amazement of what's going on. I love that when it's immediately obvious to the viewer, like, okay, this isn't right.
Right.
Something's going wrong.
I usually have to explain what's going on though, because I'm doing a lot of stuff when the screen is garbled up. So there's a lot to explain when that's all going on. It's
so
not immediate. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead. You finish. You are the guest. I want you to finish.
Yeah.
No. I need.
It's just not immediately obvious what's going on. I mean, when the screen is freaking out, I'm still doing stuff like mashing L to get the action command that I want. So it's if you haven't seen the run before, it's like, oh, the screen just freaked out and now he's over here. I don't know what happened.
Right. Now Spike.
So okay. Go. This is your chance. Okay. No. So me, I love my GDQ games topic talk. I can't get enough of this stuff. So no disrespect, obviously, to Mike Uyama. It's an incredibly difficult task he's got to have. Him and the committee having to put this schedule together. But it was amazing to me as soon as the first cuts came, or no, the second major cuts came out. Just how many people were all up in arms about an RPG of all things being cut. People were just flabbergasted. They were frustrated. They were angry. They were sad that Superstar Saga got cut. They thought it was the most deserving game. Give me your pitch right now why Mike and the committee made the wrong choice. Why should Superstar Saga be an AGDQ this January?
I think my JRTA run kind of spoke for itself. It was probably one of the best ones I could hope for it. So, it's just such a jarring transition when the glitches start happening, and it just gets people more engaged as the run goes on. It's just got a nice curve of interest, I think, and then it just has the fight at the end, which is very tense. So the run just keeps getting better and better as it goes on.
I will say the reaction that I heard most often from that marathon run was just like it pulled me in. That was like the phrase I kept hearing. Like it pulled me in as soon as everything started going wrong. You're kind of hooked on it, and you had to figure out. You had to stick around and see what was going on and what was happening. But so let me ask you. I guess getting rejected from AGDQ. By the way, welcome to the club.
To the reject list.
Yeah, it's nice here.
It's us.
We got a heater. My nose is running. It's great. So no, in all seriousness, one thing I wanted to commend you for, because it is very easy when your game gets rejected to take it the wrong way and kind of get angry about it. I think you kind of had a really good reaction to it. Not only just like getting up and willingly doing it for JRTA, but then you also made a really generous contribution to our marathon as well for that. So I wanted to thank you for that. And I guess I need to learn how to react better so I don't act so salty. Unless you were doing it somewhere else, like maybe I don't follow you on other social mediums and you're angry on Facebook or something. I thought you handled it pretty well. So.
Yeah, I was understandably upset about it, but I didn't want to do that on the internet or anything.
Right. That's a good idea.
No, that's good. That's good. So I guess looking forward then, so HDQ probably not looking like a possibility now, but is this something that you want to offer still for SGDQ and you want to keep trying to get it in until it makes a marathon schedule?
I'm absolutely going to offer it for SGDQ, and for all I know, this game could get even more broken by the time that comes around. So
plenty more time for things to go wrong in the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
Sockfolder has time.
There you go. That's right. You got a few months. So in addition to running, just like standard any percent, and you've played, both Japanese and English as they kind of went back and forth. You also run a category called All Bosses. Now, this is something you made up on your own?
Yeah. I kind of wanted to have a run I could do that's a middle ground between any percent and glitchless, because glitchless is nice because you can see the rest of the game, but it's kind of a boring run because of how easy it is after you get to Fungi Town. But All Bosses lets you see a lot more of the game and also do a lot more tricks that you wouldn't see in any percent, because this game is broken to hell. There's a lot more applications you can do with the glitches, and so it's an interesting run. It's also less stressful than any percent, because like the last half hour of any percent is like, oh god, any mistake and the run's over,
right?
Or kind of thing. So
this way, you're going to at least get to the end of the game and the credits are going to roll.
Yeah, most of the time.
That's most of the time, though. Yeah. I just can't imagine running a game that's like multiple hours and then you have to reset at some point along the way. I reset enough as it is, like within the first minute of every game I play. So.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really good. You should try it sometime.
So, in addition to Superstar Saga, do you have any other games that you're looking at running in the future? Are there games that you've played in the past you kind of want to talk about, or is Superstar Saga kind of your mainstay?
It's my go-to game right now, and probably will be for the foreseeable future. Having a full-time job kind of makes it hard to contribute a whole lot of time to other games.
Sure.
So I want to get back into Trauma Center Second Opinion. That game's a lot of fun to run.
Interesting. I've seen you get the occasional, Trauma Center or one of the Surgeon. I can't remember what it is. Surgeon Simulator, is that the one that people play?
Yeah, but the Trauma Center is less random and a lot more skill based, I'd say. So.
Okay.
But I also eventually want to get into Partners in Time as well. It's not as broken as Superstar Saga is, but it's enjoyable for different reasons. The boss fights are a whole lot of fun. But that game is also significantly longer, so it may be a while before I start doing runs of that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll have more questions for you at the end of the show too, by the way. So guys in the chat, if you have questions for Ulta Biscuit, save those for the end of the show. We'll definitely need them. But for now, we're going to move on. If that's all right with everybody in the call, we're going to move on and talk about the record of the week.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got. Okay, record of the week. Run the thing. Run the thing. There it is. Okay.
Okay, we're so far no blips yet. We figured out how to do it. Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Here we go.
We've got a Final Fantasy. I think this is the first time we've had a Final Fantasy as a record setter.
Kind of surprising.
What are we seeing, Spike?
Dude, we are seeing Final Fantasy IX, a game that is very near and dear to my heart. We have seen in the last 5 days someone take down a 1.5 year long standing record by Karakarn, who had the record at like 9 hours and 8 minutes. Luzbelheim, I think is how you would say his name, knocked it all the way down to 9 hours and 4 minutes. A lot of people can say this game, a lot of it just comes down to RNG, but outside of that, like what you're watching right now, this game is all about micromanagement in your menus. There's nothing incredibly broken about this game. In between almost every single boss fight, especially in the second half of the game, you're having to constantly change everything. So right here, you're seeing one of the craziest menus. He's got to sell all these very specific items. If he sells the wrong thing, the run is over, basically. He has to buy all these very specific items with a very specific amount of money. He then has to make all of these equips, just so people know this is at like double the speed. But this is still like, even at normal speed, this is nuts. This is one of like dozens upon dozens of crazy menuing that you have to do. Right here, you're seeing the final boss battle with Necron. All of this, yeah, this boss totally makes sense in this game. But yeah, this is a crazy strat at the end where essentially by killing off all of his party members and then having Freya jump, you actually skip over his like major attacks like Grand Cross and Neutron Ring that normally would kill off all your party members since you're at such a low level. But since Freya is off screen, he just skips over that phase. And then you're given 3 turns to deal 60,000 hit points of damage and end the game. And if you don't do it by then you die. It's a very specific fight. The strat is crazy. If it wasn't for that, you'd have to do like an hour of grinding somewhere, getting other items. So this was like the thing. This game is not broken except for this one trick on the final boss that not that we found, but I think it was Japanese runners found it a couple years ago. It was like 6 months maybe before Puexel and I did our AGDQ 2013 run. But regardless, again, looking at this run, it is, you know, like any of these long 3D RPGs, it is an endurance test. It's an unbelievable showing of knowledge, I think, for the runner. And just, again, as you can see, like looking at those menus, that's one of tons that he has to do.
Right. And that's the thing, too, is you kind of mentioned to me when we were talking about this before the show, too, that it's a game that's dependent on random encounters as well. When you're moving across the map, you're kind of nudging the controller to try and avoid encounters, because if you push it too far, then it actually could trigger an encounter. So you're not actually running on the world map. You're kind of like tiptoeing across the world map, I guess, really quickly.
Right, you're kind of mashing your way across, which on this version, in JRTA attempt or in Japanese RTA attempts, they'll usually just use a turbo controller so they can get the right speed going across the world map. Here, you just have to tap it in a very specific way to keep yourself moving in half steps the entire time. So it's kind of a run where you're always nervous because random encounters take so long in this run. As you can see, he got 48 there. Anything under 60 is incredible in this game. So yeah, just really unbelievable run, unbelievable time. If you are a Final Fantasy fan, if you like the speedruns, I definitely recommend checking these out, probably in parts, however you want to. If nothing else, if you're not, to at least check out the final hour or so of it, because that is just full of menus, full of very specific boss strats, you know, and the game itself is incredible.
Yeah,
it's,
one thing I didn't get to point out at the end, I think some of the people in chat caught it, but at the end, he's got a very excited and interesting reaction. He kind of... He's, you know, a couple of yeses in there, and then, I don't know, he does some sort of like brrrr thing, and I don't know what that is, but he's obviously really happy about that run. So it's amazing to me that you can cut that many minutes off of a run, even though it's a 9-hour run. I mean, obviously it's a game that a lot of people play and are interested in. So really cool to see that it got dropped down that significantly. And those menus, my God, that's a lot to memorize, a lot to recognize quickly. Pretty interesting stuff. So
that's the one thing about those kinds of games that I really love seeing is consistent, really fast menuing. Like that's one thing that I love. I love seeing that, like the organization, everything, the memorization, how fast they go, like everything. Even like Kingdom Hearts speedruns, like I love that because the menuing is just so satisfying.
Right. And don't tell Cypher, because otherwise, you know, he'll pick it up too. But but the thing about the menuing too is that, you know, as rehearsed as you want it to be, when you make a mistake in menuing, it's not like you're gonna, you know, be able to undo it really quickly. It's almost like an improvised reaction to it if you misclick. Right, you've got your item that you wanted is suddenly not in the right place, and you're shuffled all over the screen, and your cursor's not in the right place. You got to figure out what the quickest way is to fix that. So I think that's really fascinating. And FF9 is full of menus. Like you're swapping out not just your weapons and stuff, but you got your abilities, the character by character.
Right.
You know.
Again, you look at other Final Fantasies, there's usually some sort of like one overpowered technique that you can get through the game. Usually there's not a lot of micromanagement going on. FF9, again, is all micromanagement. It is just literally you finish a boss fight, you completely change your characters, you completely change everything they're equipped with, both in equipment and abilities. You're having to constantly check, like, all right, do they have the right amount of MP, HP? What am I doing here? It's really inspiring stuff to watch if you can get past the fact that it is a 9-hour run. But that makes it more impressive to me, honestly.
Now, if I remember correctly, Ulta Biscuit, like taking this from FF9 and translating it to Superstar Saga, I think Superstar Saga's menus are generally pretty simple, right? Is there a lot of menuing in that game?
It's not as complicated as FF9 for sure, but I mean, I've even made little mistakes and runs, and it just like completely screws me up. So I couldn't even imagine like if I made a tiny mistake and something like that, and it's like, well, just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, I know Mario RPG runners too. They'll every now and then they'll be in the middle of a run and then realize like 45 minutes after it happened they put the wrong gear on. Like, why am I 5 minutes behind my PB? Like, oh, that's why. And she's not
doing
wearing
half the damage.
She's not wearing the the battle gear. Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So that being said, good stuff to Luzbelheim, I believe is what we're going with for how to pronounce it. I don't know if we got it right or not.
I'll believe that. Yeah.
The replay, by the way, is linked there on the stream, so you can go check out the full run. By the way, also impressive. He managed to upload all 9 hours of it in one segment. So I don't know, what kind of upload speed you have, sir, but I want that upload speed.
Fiber.
Yeah. Got the
if I had started it 5 days ago, it would still be uploaded.
That's right. All right, let's roll the thing here. It's time for real talk. Got to start the next segment. We got a few things to talk about here, starting with separate entity. GDQs are now separate from SDA. This was made official on the forums and just kind of announced that they're going to be a separate being from Speed Demo's archive. So SDA is still going to be the main website to go for GDQ discussion, but they're no longer one in the same. It's not going to be an SDA marathon, so to speak. It's going to be a Games Done Quick marathon. What do you guys think this means, if anything? Do you think it's the right move? What do you think about it?
I think it's the direction they had to go in. It had almost become a need when we would talk about, hey, we welcome people to AGDQ, an event put together by the members of Speed Demo's Archive and Speedruns Live, and Ludendi coming together and putting on this event for you. And I think there was sort of this weird, like, is it still SDA's event at the end of the day? And it wasn't. There are a lot of people obviously involved from SDA. That's a lot of its kind of founding fathers, and mothers. But a lot of people have put time into making these events bigger and better every single year, every single GDQ. And it's nice to just kind of separate that and say, almost like we as a community, as the speedrunning community, are putting on Games Done Quick. So I really like that they're giving it a different name now, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a radical change where it's like, okay, this is drama inducing or anything like that. It's more just, it's rebranding, if anything, to kind of say, okay, SDA has its purpose, and the GDQs started off as a product of SDA, but now it's come to the point where it's its own thing. And I thought it was also worth pointing out too that it's not like they're going to shift off of the website to go somewhere else for GDQ discussion or anything like that. So it's not time to get up in arms, go get your pitchforks and riot or something. But, no, I think it makes sense just in the long term
for sure
to establish that. And in addition to splitting off from SDA, they also announced some additions to kind of a more complete staff for the events themselves. I know Mike had kind of mentioned in the past that he was getting some I don't know if it was a partnership with PCF or if he's working for them full time or what, but that their PCF themselves are kind of extending that to other people, so there's more of a complete staff rather than just like an individual or two kind of working with them.
For sure. And that's good to see. It's good to see that, one, we love transparency. We love just admitting, like, here are the people who are working for us, not just to know, like, who's making money, but just have an idea of these are the people who are in power. These are the people who are putting stuff together every year. These are the people that you need to go and thank for making the GDQs bigger and better every year. And on top of that, it is good that we're starting to see people make some sort of money off of this, just so it's a little more, let's not bring in sellouts or anything. Let's bring in the fact that they're getting compensated for the hours upon hours of work that they put into a GDQ every single year, and the time year round that they have to put thought process wise into it.
Right, because I mean, it's at the point now where this really is, like you're planning these things months in advance. It's not just okay, come over to my house and we'll stream on Ustream for 25 viewers and raise a couple $100 or something. It's a big deal. I mean, it's a full-time commitment to create these events and make them happen.
That's the kind of thing that I thought of too. Actually, at I think it was AGDQ last year, there was a guy who frequents my stream. He came up to me and he said that he was kind of disappointed because AGDQ has now, like, it's grown so big. Like it was at AGDQ 2014. He said this is way bigger than SGDQ 2013 looked, and I said, yeah, like we had a small room and we could actually fit like everybody in there.
Right.
So I mean, of course AGDQ 2014 is bigger, but he said he was disappointed because he felt like SGDQ 2013 was more of a family event. Like it almost felt like everybody there was family. Like it had like that kind of comforting atmosphere to it. Whereas AGDQ 2014 was so big that now it feels like something kind of like on the verge of like some other huge get together.
Yeah, I mean, it really is turning into a convention at this point in terms of scale. I mean, the amount of people that are going to be there, you're not going to recognize everybody that's there anymore.
Yeah, it's inevitable though. Like, I mean, SDA had to like kind of break off from the GDQ, make GDQs their own thing. Like it's only inevitable because it was only going to get bigger. I mean, to start with, because now it's more popular. There's a lot more sponsors involved now, obviously. So I mean, there was no getting away from that. But I mean, again, like you said, Golden, there's really no reason to like get out and riot or anything like that. Like it's still the same thing. Nothing has really changed in that matter, as far as I can tell. So, I mean,
I guess if you want to take an angle on it that isn't like strictly positive, right? If you want to be that guy that's like, oh, somebody's got to win and somebody's got to lose, I do think it is a bit of a loss for SDA because, in my opinion, the Games Done Quick events are really what bring people to the site more than anything.
Sure.
And I as much as people will argue that you can go there to get all your high quality speedrun videos and that kind of thing, or you can go there for verification of your runs. I really think what brought people there more than anything is the GDQ events, and they still will because they are going to still be hosted on the site, and that's going to be the kind of populated center where you're going for hotel information. Who's my roommate going to be, all that stuff. I really think that brings the community back to SDA more than anything. So I'm glad that they're actually sticking with them. And not saying go get your own website or anything like that, because I do think then it kind of has a purpose for everybody. So
one other thing that's nice about the split, at least for the viewers that there's a lot of viewers for the GDQs that only watch speed runs during these events, so it just makes the rebranding makes it easier for them to find it that way.
They did change the Twitch website, right? It's twitch.tv/gamesdonequick, I think.
Yeah.
And it used to be twitch.tv/lots of different ways to spell SDA. I honestly can't remember what it is because it was either like SDA Speed Demos Archive or Speed Demos Archive SDA.
Yeah.
So this is clean. It's easy to say.
Yes, I
Did
completely
they not
agree with
redirect?
that.
I thought they redirected.
Oh, maybe it does. Maybe it did redirect. Yeah, maybe you could do
Yeah.
like just like a /SDA, and it would.
I think they just did that with
Yeah, and
SGDQ.
now it's games done quick. So now you got homework. Here you go. If you're playing along at home, go to twitch.tv/SDA and let me know what it redirects to. And yeah, that'll be interesting to find out. So okay, moving along though, because we have other things to talk about. Next topic is AGDQ cuts. So oh, that's a tough one. Get ready. Additional cuts are being made to AGDQ beyond round 2. It was announced just a few days ago that some additional cuts had to be made, including but not limited to Mega Man X2, Rayman, Sonic the Hedgehog. I believe Mighty Switch Force, one of the Mighty Switch Force games, was in there.
King Kong 2.
King Kong 2 getting removed as well. So I guess there's a couple things here. I mean, obviously, if a game has to get cut to make the schedule what it has to be, then it's inevitable. But what do you think about how this is getting handled? And are we done with the cuts? Is there more to come? What's going on?
Oh, it's confirmed there are more to come. It is confirmed by Mike Uyama. And I guess he's at Chicago-thon. That's what he said.
Yeah.
That I think it's 7 more hours and 10 more games are going to be cut. So, which he posts that, and then I'm going to the forum. I'm like, all right, so what are they?
Right.
And we've had no response yet. Just 10 more games. They're going to find out they're not in it next week.
So let's get serious about this for a minute
Sure.
here. So we're getting to the point now where people are considering their plans for the event. I've been asked a few times, like, what's your situation? Do you have roommates yet? Do you want to room together? Do you want to, when are you flying out? When we I can't even say words because I'm so excited, man. It's just like it's right there. But people are starting to make their plans, and how does it feel now if you're a runner that's under the impression that, okay, yeah, I've made it past 2 rounds of cuts. It looks like I'm, I've got the green box around my game. I'm ready to go. And then now, all of a sudden last minute, whoa, we still don't have room for you. We're going to have to cut you. I do think it's a little unfortunate that we don't have a concrete schedule at this point. I'd like to know for sure, like, what games are in for sure, what ones aren't. And I'm also wondering what happens when we cut these games now. Are we going to have a similar situation to SGDQ where the schedule gets overcut, and then we're going to start asking people, like, please run this game?
Oh, wait, yeah.
Yeah.
Please run Yoshi's New Island.
So there you go. Exactly. So are these games that are getting cut, are they being put on the wait list? Are they, flat out denied now? Like, what's kind of the status of some of these?
It looked like most of them were straight up cut, and I think that's because Mike realized that there was still more hours he needed to cut, and if anything gets on the wait list, those will. Here's my biggest problem with the wait list. I feel like the wait list is sort of arbitrary, where once we actually get to the GDQ, if there's just time they need to fill, they're going to figure out something else. I don't know. Siglemic's going to have another donation incentive to get to 120 star.
Right.
They're just going to look around and say, Garrison, do you have anything? Oh, I have Bucky O'Hare at SGDQ. Bam, let's do it. Which, by the way, never mind. I'm not going to go there. But no, I'm mostly
I'm trying really hard not to as well.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, and we can all get salty about the different games. I think the thing that we're trying to get at is what you just said. It's not so much like which games are getting cut right now. It's the fact that games are getting cut right now. Is that we just went through the second round of cuts, which was, it was a big announcement. Like, people understood, like, okay, this is the round where, like, if I get past this, I'm pretty much in the marathon. I can buy tickets. I can, save up money, do what I have to do. And now that's actually not the case. Everyone's sitting here on pins and needles like, wait, maybe I've already bought my ticket and I'm not actually going to have a game right now. It's sort of just being thrown to the wayside that, oh, by the way, I'm going to cut 7 more hours of video games. Like, that's a lot of hours of video games that all of a sudden are about to get cut.
I think it's the state of limbo that concerns people the most, because it's just like, I don't know if my game is going to be played or not. Like, there's no guarantee. It doesn't matter what my game is. I mean, Mega Man X2, that's a pretty big game to cut. And, obviously, I think, first of all, I actually want to give props for that at this stage in the game, if that's the cut that needs to be made, that, you're not biased towards certain runners, getting removed based on, how familiar they are, that kind of thing. And this obviously was just like a decision that was made for the purpose of removing time. But it does kind of seem like at this point, we're like 3 months away from the marathon. People should know whether they're playing or not.
For sure.
I find it's hard enough to plan to even go to a marathon in the first place. Like, as soon as the marathon ends, you're thinking of the next marathon, like, right away. So,
yeah.
And you get to, like, work or school, and then you're like, oh, I'm going to have to take time off for this, or
right.
I mean, you have to make...
That's kind of the concern, too, is, some people are saying, well, who cares whether you have a game or not, just go to the event, right? And I do agree with that opinion, but for some people, they can only go to one or, the other. They can't go to both. I know, Ulta, you kind of mentioned that you're one of those people that maybe can only go to AGDQ or only go to SGDQ. So let's say that Superstar Saga wasn't cut. Let's say it's just like in this limbo. How are you feeling if you don't know?
It's at least with recent events with me, I don't even think I could go to AGDQ now if it did get back in for some reason. But it's it's like I can only go to one or the other just because of time off that's available. So it's like that. That time off could go somewhere else, for example. So
So if you could be told in advance, like, hey, we're really not going to be able to fit your game in, then you could probably find other uses for those. Your
exactly. So it's just this weird state of uncertainty for a lot of people.
Right. I mean, like just to give a personal example, not that anyone cares what my opinion is, but it's like knowing so far in advance that mine didn't make it like through round one. It was kind of like, okay, the frustration, like that's it's a short period of time, but then I've got all this time to plan. Okay, I'm either going just for the purpose of going, or I'm not going at all. Right. I've got all this time to think about that. I don't have to worry about my game, whether it's in or not. But for a lot of people, that is going to be a concern now. Is I'm planning to run the game. I have the expectation, but there's still games to be cut. So that's kind of the bigger concern. I don't think specifically, like, looking at any of the games, I don't think there's anything that really strikes me as like, how dare you cut this, or
right.
I do think the cuts make sense. It just kind of seems like they should happen. They should be there.
Yeah, they should have been part of round two, which again was Mike's intention. Mike just didn't go about it very well. Mike and whoever else is putting together the schedule is that they did not. And I'm just gonna say this on my stream. I called it. They underestimated how much setup time they needed to put in.
Yeah, and I guess like it just, for me, I'm interested to see if AGDQ ends up getting a little bit of that SGDQ overcutting, so to speak, where it's just they're starting to add games back in, and they go into the practice room and say who can play this, who can play that, because we're so far ahead. I'm curious to see how that factors in. I feel like scheduling is just brutal, by the way. Just
I don't envy them at all for having to put that together.
It's absolutely just Jenga, but you can't ever possibly keep the tower up. It just keeps falling over. So it is a balancing act for sure. But
wouldn't that be like, I mean, I don't mean to blame anybody, but wouldn't that kind of be the fault of the runner for putting like a time estimate that has, say, like a half hour more, like, than they need? Well, I mean, I know they can update their time. Like, if they get a PB and they can like edit their estimate or whatever. But sure. Like, wouldn't it kind of be the fault of the runner? Like, I mean, it is their responsibility to edit it.
And it is. I definitely understand where you're coming from. It is the runner's responsibility. And there were a lot of runners that didn't understand that this was a new estimate system that they were using this year. We're not putting, this plus setup time, which to all runners meant something different. Like, all those were inaccurate in the past. This was, we only want like what roughly your game time is. A lot of people didn't get that, so they gave ridiculous estimates, or hello. Well, a lot of people, so people still gave estimates that were incorrect. But that being said, I feel like there was enough time to where Mike and whoever else was putting this together had to be a little more concrete than instead, because as it turned out, Mike started with like 153 hours after the round two cuts. And after he announces the next 7 hours of cuts, that 153 is actually going to be 131. So that's 22 hours that he missed by. And there's got to be some blame thrown around for that. That 22 hours of people who thought they had runs are not actually going to get their runs. And a lot of them aren't even going to know it till much further down the line.
Yeah. So, obviously, it's for some people, it doesn't really affect them because they've already had their games cut. For other people, there's kind of a limbo. But hopefully, I guess within the next few days, there's some finality to it, and people will get to know whether they're playing or not. So let's go ahead and move on. Enough of the, we always have like this period of the show where it's like, I don't know how I feel about this, like salt shaking, like shaking my salt shaker. I'm out of salt. Okay. I'm gonna let you refill your salt shakers while we enjoy this hilarious blooper. It's time for Glitch Please, and this week we got a clip from Ooga. I like that name, Ooga.
Ooga.
Somebody asked him what is the worst death in Super Meat Boy.
Whoever asked about what's the longest
Take a
death
look.
in the game, on dark version here, if you
The timing is great. Don't ever read your chat. Don't ever read your chat.
Just his reaction to this is the best.
So good.
He can't stop laughing. And he's still playing. He's still playing. I would be done. My controller would be out of my hands at this point.
Oh my god.
There
I
it is.
wanted that to
That
become
is-
a PB after that.
That is the longest death in Meat Boy. Thank you for asking the question, stream viewer, and thank you for the answer, Uga. We appreciate it very much. That's probably one of the best ones we've ever had, I think.
That might be number one. That is so good.
Oh man. So just a reminder to all of you who are watching, it's been so long, I'm going to get the side wrong here. If you would like to submit a clip, we kind of need you to submit them for us to show them on the show, and it helps when you do that. So if you see something funny, if somebody's got a highlight, if it happened to you during one of your runs or during a race, and you'd like to show it, whether it was good or bad, we might use it on the show if you send it to our inbox, which I'm pointing at on the screen there. And you should also follow us on these other social media things that the kids are into these days. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. You've got questions and maybe we have answers. I don't know. It's time for the boss rush. And we've got a little bit of an extended boss rush today, because what I would like to do, since we haven't had a show for a few weeks, I'd like to offer you guys the chance as stream viewers, if there's anything that we've missed over the last few weeks just because we've been gone, if there's something you want us to talk about, now is the time. If you have questions for Ulta Biscuit, we'll take those too. Do you guys have any gaming plans for the weekend while we're waiting for questions to roll in? Any big streaming plans or gaming plans the rest of the week? And I blanked them. They have
No
plans.
Streaming is for
On
losers.
Spike.
I haven't streamed, I think I've streamed like twice in the last month. I don't know. It's been so long.
Yeah, all getting burnt out. No, dude, we need AGDQ again. No, I am in the middle of learning Kingdom Hearts 2 Final Mix Critical Mode, which is the highest difficulty on essentially the director's cut version of Kingdom Hearts 2, which is like the best game of Kingdom Hearts out there. The category is brutal. There's a lot of things that kill you in one shot if you make one mistake. So yeah, that's fun. And I hope to finish learning the entire game tomorrow, so that should be fun.
Good stuff.
I look forward to getting killed a lot.
How many hits is it, Spike? Like 2 hits and you're dead, or 1?
Oh well, everything's either 1, 2, or 3 hits.
Oh, okay.
It is shocking to me how many one shots there are in that game. Like not like combo deaths, like just straight up.
Just straight up, you're dead.
If this very fast moving attack that you can't read very well hits you, you die. Like it's
Nice.
great. So yeah, but there's lots of ways to defend against it. It's still, it's a very skill-based game, even though you'd think it'd be up to a lot of RNG, especially once you get out of the first hour of the game. Like a lot of it from there is just how well you execute the battle strats and, adapt to whatever RNG it gives you.
All right.
So.
Any plans?
Got a lot of
there are quite a few
people
questions
asking
here.
about other Mario and Luigi games
Yeah,
right
I guess
now.
let's start with that.
Right now, Partners in Time is really the only other one I plan to learn. The other two are way too long for me.
Nice.
Like Bowser's Inside Story is
I
6
can't
hours.
imagine.
Dream Team is 10.
I want to say Dream Team. I remember. I want to say it was Lee wanted to play that. I don't know if he wanted to speedrun it, but he definitely streamed it a few times. And I think he had kind of this impression that like, okay, I'm going to speedrun this, right? I'm going to learn it. And somewhere in the course of his first playthrough on stream, it like occurred to him, I don't want to do this. I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah.
balls.
What did I sign
Granted,
up for?
a lot of skips are being found for Dream Team recently, but it's still really long and lots
What's
of
it down
tutorials.
to?
I don't even think a run's been done with the new stuff yet.
Oh man,
That's when you know a game is long. I haven't been able to stay awake for the course of the run. Yeah.
Supposedly, there's people who have trouble with the 3DS crashing for being on for so long too. So there's just other problems with that too.
All right, we've had a few other questions here that are actually on topic, believe it or not, amidst the sea of ones that aren't. Shasta wants to know who's hyped for Mega Marathon next week.
Woo!
I'm actually playing in Mega Marathon. I haven't done a
Same.
speed game in so long. I gotta. Yeah. After the show, I guess it's time to practice. I don't know, but
Just remember how to play them and find out what my slot is. That'd be great.
Maybe I've been cut from that too. I don't know. Yeah, no, Mega Marathon's going to be a lot of fun. I really like that Mega Marathon's kind of just another one of those, hey, everybody gets to play kind of things. Last year's Mega Marathon went really well. I think this one will be just fine as well.
Is there anything particular it's raising money for, or is it just a marathon for marathon's sake? I actually don't know.
Mega Marathon is going to be raising money to bring international runners. I don't know if it's specifically from one country like JRTA was.
Sure.
I believe it's just kind of a general purpose. Let's get some people who couldn't otherwise get to AGDQ. Kind of event.
Always support that.
Unless it's changed since then. Maybe it's just a collective party. They're just raising money for...
It's just the collective. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. So let's see. There was another question. Where was it? It was...
Someone asked...
DreamHack. There we go. Hold on, I'll get to that in just a second. Let's talk. DreamHack hasn't happened, right? DreamHack winner's still a ways away.
Oh, is there a winner? I thought he was still talking about the one we did in the summer.
Maybe it's been that long since we've done a show. Like,
yeah.
The DreamHack winner I think got announced, and there's quite a longer list of attendees than last time. Pulling in some of our American friends here, giving them the experience. I would really love to go to a DreamHack once, but I don't know if I would speedrun at one. I'd kind of just be lost in all the computers, I think.
Is DreamHack winner based in Europe?
I believe so. I think they're
okay.
Unless somebody wants to correct me, I'm pretty sure it's all Sweden.
And has Ludendi announced they're going to try to get involved with that, or are they kind of...
Yeah, so they're doing kind of the similar format to what they did at DreamHack Summer. So they're going to have the arena where people can kind of sit in a theater-style setting and watch some races. And then I think they're still going to do just their usual marathon where they're out amongst the public with their fences and their, like VIP, let me in on the couch kind of thing.
For sure.
So...
to answer Chris's question about a game that I would be wanting to learn, SMRPG would be one for sure, but super jumps are really hard.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of people get to. SMRPG is probably the game that most people have wanted to run at some point, and then that is the part that stops everyone. Stops 92% of runners from
I feel like Superstar Saga might end up being in the same boat just because of how punishing it is at the end.
Sure.
Yeah.
Is it just because you're so under-leveled in the final 30 minutes or so, or...?
No, it's just really easy to soft lock at the end if you don't know what you're doing. And if you soft lock, you can't reload from a save because of how the last glitch works. Your run is just over. So... It's really, really punishing.
So what's the marathon save? Do you just have to go back before any of the glitches started, or?
It's a little weird, but the Japanese version is safer because as you can go out and play a surfing game to make the glitch work, but the English version doesn't have a backup strat like that. So it's really strange.
All right, we've got one more question here that I think this will be our last one. Jeff, the guy, wants to know, what do you guys think of the Showcase Race reboot? I actually got a chance to watch a little bit. My impression of it was that, I hate this is my only takeaway, but my takeaway was that the layout was goofy. I don't know, to say the least. I'm just being honest. Okay. I think that like rebooting it is a really good idea. I think that it's I think the first one had a couple thousand viewers, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously, it had a really good reception right away.
Let's say featured on the front page, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. And good to see that it's back. I did like that the spin on it now is that the winners are donating to charity. That seems to handle it a little bit better. I still would argue that you maybe don't need money for it to work. Whether it's charity or for the person that wins or whatever. I almost feel like you don't need that. You could just have the race. But like that aside, the layout itself, the screens were very tiny, and it reminded me of like old SGDQ or AGDQ layouts where you're just kind of wondering, like, you have all this space, why aren't you using it? Use the space. But that was my thought anyway. I'm glad it's back. I think it's a good idea.
For sure.
What did you guys get a chance to watch any of it?
I got a chance to watch a little bit of it.
What did you think?
I think good.
Again, I thought the layout was a little weird, but all in all, I think the reboot was a pretty good decision, and I like the thought of the players donating to charity. I think the reboot is a really good idea, actually.
Yeah, I mean, more purposes to use the page too.
Yeah.
Outside of marathons, so that's cool.
I've always thought the showcase race was a really cool idea, and I loved when you guys were doing it in the past. I like that there's a reboot. I didn't get to see it was Ocarina of Time they were racing, I guess.
There was a double feature. I think it was Sly Cooper.
Okay.
And then it was Ocarina of Time.
I like I like that idea. I like the idea of maybe doing like one like bigger game to bring people in and one other game you can showcase. I like showcasing communities in general, that it's not just one person it's not Cosmo created speedrunning of the Ocarina of Time. It's actually, no, there's a lot of people here who speedrun it. It can actually be a competitive thing, which I think for a lot more people that's more tangible. It's a lot easier to take it in that like, oh, this isn't just someone doing some weird thing with a video game. It's actually this like competitive game they can play with it. Or they can do with it. So yeah, I think it's really cool to bring it back. I love that ROM Scout is very much in support of it and getting it on the front page. And I hope we see more of it in the future. I think it's got great potential.
Cool. And on that note, I think we've answered enough questions. You guys did a good job of like catching the main topics too that we didn't get to, because that was some good stuff.
I can't believe we left the showcase race out of this.
There we go. We got it back. So you guys in the chat get a pat on the back for keeping us honest here. It's time for the speech, and I'll be honest, I don't want to do it because I'm not.
You're not feeling well.
I'm not feeling that great. So somebody else who wants it? No, I don't care. Whoever wants to give a speech, if there's something that is on your mind, and you have to share it with everybody.
I know it's been said time and time again, but whenever things get said that they're task only, we get proven wrong time and time again. So never, unless it's actually impossible for a human to do, just never assume anything's task only.
This is a good lesson to learn, because Super Metroid, like that, when that whole thing went down, that was largely because people looked at the task and said, nope, can't do it. And now look where we're at with that game. So good. By the way, look at how bad hosts we are. We're just like, okay, yeah, go ahead, Ulta Biscuit. You can take the take the speech. Thank you for stepping up and doing what we would not do.
That's a great message, though. I love that.
No, that's good. That's parting wisdom. That is. Yeah. That's what I put on the screen. It says parting wisdom, and it was. So there we go. Well done. Thanks everybody for joining us for the I guess the welcome back episode, so to speak. We should be back next weekend for another episode at the same time in the same place and all of that. You guys be sure to follow Ulta Biscuit on Twitch as well. We got the there it is. Get the shout outs in there. That's going to count as a shout out, by the way. You want to give any last quick shout outs, Ulta Biscuit, before we go?
I got nothing.
Got nothing? All right. Well, I'll give a shout out to you then. Because thanks for taking part in JRTA. It was a lot of fun. I hope you had fun with your run there. And I hope you guys in the chat will give it a follow. Give it a follow. It's an intangible thing. Give Ulta Biscuit a follow. Check out the Superstar Saga runs, because it's pretty interesting if you haven't had a chance to watch. Have a good rest of your weekend. Enjoy, and I guess just remember that your run is not over until you hit what, Bonesaw?
The final split.
Thank you very much, Bonesaw. Have a good weekend, guys.